Oh no. Oh man. Oh man, Yuppie's there now. Oh no. Oh, Knuckles there. No, you can't get in touch with Leo because he's dead. Yeah, Flutter's dead too. Less than a minute. In other words, it'll take like 5 episodes. Shoot. Oh, what's his face? Nove. Did Nove get him? Yeah, yeah, nice, nice. He actually did something. Yeah, I completely forgot about him. Yeah. Yo, you guys, this is Black, List of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Hunter x Hunter episode 120. Alright? And this episode starts off with, first it starts off with not Morel, Knuckle finding the blood all over where Shoot used to be, and he's trying to figure out, well, who did this? It must be Yuppie. Right? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Even though it's already been shown that Yuppie doesn't care enough about Shoot to actually do something to him. So, but he's too angry, so he's not really thinking clearly. That was technically the first part of the episode, but pretty much the first part and the majority of the episode is the stuff going on with Morel. All right, Morel and Pouf. And what happens is that Morel does in the end decide to destroy the cocoon that Pouf is in, and he ends up releasing Smoky Jail as well. Okay, and he sees Pouf outside of Smoky Jail, and he, concludes that, he pretty much explains his thought process, which makes sense. That made sense, and Pouf actually ends up explaining his own plan that he was going to go around taking out all of Morel's allies, Knuckles, Shoot, Gon, Chloe. He's going to take out as many as he could under the guise of being trapped inside Smoky Jail, because if Smoky Jail was still up, and they all saw that Smoky Jail was still up, they would assume that Pouf was trapped inside Smoky Jail. So he would catch them completely off guard if he just showed up and started fighting them. All right. However, Pouf ends up saying, instead of saying that he was impressed by Morel and how he was able to figure everything out, he instead says that he overestimated Morel. All right. And then after saying that, he activates Beelzebub, his ability which allows him to create clones. Now, the reason he said he overestimated Morel is because he had made the assumption that Morel would actually legitimately figure things out, but he didn't. He only kind of figured things out. He didn't figure out the entire ability, the entire story. He didn't figure everything out. And the way the way Poof's legitimate plan worked, well, he was planning on doing which is what he said, going around taking people out. However, the way his ability Beelzebub works is that he can in fact separate himself into multiple clones with multiples. There's a huge range in size. He can make them, what was it, a billionth of his own size. However, his main body can only get as small as a bee. All right. So at the size of a bee, that wouldn't be small enough to actually escape Smoky Jail. Okay, so his main body would be trapped inside Smoky Jail, while the clones would be the only ones to go around attacking people. So no matter, I mean, I'm sure he would have fused his clones back to being at least somewhat the same size as his original self, but without the main body there, the clone is still going to be weaker. All right. So it's still going to be weaker than the original. So while it would have originally gotten beaten, there would have been casualties at the very least. He would have ended up hurting or maybe even killing some of Morel's comrades, and Morel would have eventually found the bee-sized main body somewhere inside Smoky Jail and killed that too. All right. So he's saying that because Morel didn't actually think, maybe what's inside this cocoon, whatever it was. Maybe it didn't actually escape. Maybe it's still inside here and I just can't see it. You know, he didn't think maybe the Pouf that's talking to me outside the smoke, maybe that's not the real Pouf. Maybe it's I don't know, some other thing, a clone, an illusion, of some trick using sound, like anything, just not the real thing. You know, he didn't think of all that. All right. And Pouf is thinking to himself, if Morel had actually realized that my main body was still inside Smoky Jail, he could have won this fight easily. All right. But he didn't. So now I've now gotten rid of all of my weaknesses thanks to him, and now there's no way I'm going to be stopped. All right, that's essentially what Pouf is thinking, and that's why he believes that he overestimated Morel. Right, but at the same time, though, you can't really say that Morel made the wrong decision, right? Because he chose to protect his comrades. All right, so it's not really the wrong choice. Um, it's at the end of the day, you have to do whatever it takes to defeat the Chimera Ants because they're a threat to humanity. However, they Morel and all his guys, all the comrades, Gon, Kalua, Meliorona, Kalga, all of them, right? They underestimated the strength of the Royal Guard. Okay, it takes more than just one or two people to defeat one of them. All right, so even if so yeah, maybe Morel would have been able to take out Shoot, but they would have lost more allies, and that would make it harder to take out the rest of them. Right? So you can't really say he made the wrong choice per se. It's you know there are positives and negatives to both. All right. So yeah, and it actually worked out pretty well because he was able to help out Knuckle. Right? What ended up happening was that after Pouf activated Beelzebub, Morel activated Deep Purple. Right? He created a bunch of different clones. Right? And he started going after Pouf because Pouf, all of the clones started flying away after mocking Morel. Morel followed after him. However, after Pouf was out of Morel's sight, he congregated and formed one Pouf again. He came together again, just formed one body. Right? And he got behind Morel and he stole Morel's pipe. All right, so now he can't use smoke anymore. He's stuck with the clones that he has. He's stuck with Deep Purple. Once Deep Purple is gone, he's screwed. He can't do anything else. He can just do the basic stuff like hand-to-hand the stuff that Gon and Chloe were doing in Greed Island when training with Biscuit, pretty much. He can just do the basic stuff now. He can't use his actual nun ability. It's just basics now, and the basics are definitely not enough to beat a Chimera Ant, especially one of the Royal Guard, right? So without that pipe, he's pretty much screwed, all right? And as soon as, Pouf leaves with the pipe to go get rid of it, and as soon as he leaves, Yupi shows up. And with Yupi, Knuckle shows up as well, all right? So the fact that he did let down Smoky Jail, it was what allowed him to help out Knuckle there. So without that, Knuckle would probably be dead. So again, it's a good decision in the end, I guess you would say, because he saved Knuckle, and because of that, they might not have defeated Pouf, but they might defeat Yupi now. Because what ends up happening is that he uses Deep Purple, he transforms all the clones into Knuckle clones. Okay, and they're all running around Yupi, and he manages to trick Yupi into believing that the real Knuckle isn't among the clones. And what happens when Yupi does believe that is that he starts to lose his temper because he was tricked. And then that's when the real Knuckle comes in. He kind of just Yupi, I mean, he kind of just forgets his surroundings and he forgets to think. Yeah, I guess that's really it. He forgets to think. He doesn't think about his surroundings, and he doesn't realize that one of the Knuckles is in fact coming in. All right, and it's the real Knuckle this time. He punches Yupi. All right, and Yupi starts to explode. He starts to explode, and Knuckle gets out of there. I'm assuming Morel got out of there. We didn't actually see, but I'm assuming Morel got out of there too. And with that explosion, Yupi is closer to he used up more Nen, so the stuff going on with APR and him like defaulting on his aura debt or whatever, like whatever's that's the, he's closer to being defeated because of APR now, because he exploded again and used a lot of Nen. So his debt is just growing now. So they might end up defeating Yuppie, but I don't know, because like I said, Morel, we never actually got a confirmation that he escaped, because he doesn't actually know about that explosion ability, so maybe he didn't know to run away until, well, I mean, common sense. You see this thing getting bigger and lighting up, you might think to run, but, you know, but, you know, we don't know for sure, but I'll assume he got free. Um, yeah, that's all we get of, that's pretty much all we get of Knuckle and Morel. Another thing is that it turns out that the person who saved Shoot, well, the person who took Shoot was Nove. All right, Nove was the one who took Shoot. He actually got him someplace where he's undergoing surgery pretty much to save his life. It looks, I'm not sure whether or not that was just inside one of Nove's rooms, or if it was inside an actual like hospital somewhere, inside an actual operation room. It's possible that Nove took Shoot and then brought him to a place using his Nen ability, or he just brought the place inside of one of his rooms and then put Shoot in that room. But either way, Shoot is getting saved thanks to Nove. Now the rest of the episode, we see Pouf observing a bunch of surroundings, trying to figure out what the situation is like overall. And one of the things he sees is Hina with Bizeff and this like random fodder chimera ant. Okay, now Hina and the fodder ant, they're off to create their own little kingdom. Hina wants to become a queen now because she, number one, she knows Pitou is dead because her stomach has, she had to absorb she had to absorb Nen, and now that Pitou is dead, her belly kind of just flattened, you know, so she knows that Chitou's dead. Right? And she's assuming that something happened to Leol and Flutter too. Because she just hasn't heard back from them, so she just decides, oh well, whatever. I'll just leave and become a queen. All right. And while she's leaving with this ant to go make her own kingdom, she stumbles upon Bizeff, who is trapped under rubble. All right. And she's just going to leave him there because she doesn't really care. But he offers her treasure in order to free him and help him out. So she does. She was saying, you know, oh, I don't know, that looks pretty heavy. I don't know if I can lift all that. Then she goes once she realizes she'll get treasure if she does, she goes and lifts it up like no effort at all. That was kind of funny. But Bizeff is worried because he doesn't know who exactly caused that aerial assault. He's under the impression that, at least I think so, he's under the impression that that aerial assault was done by the Federation. Right? And that if they get him, he's going to be arrested and probably executed. So he clearly doesn't want that. So he's trying to stick with Hina, or only some chimera, so that doesn't happen. And Welfin, they head underground to go to the treasure, and Welfin's following them now. Welfin was able to, the last time we saw him, he was still outside, but now he's found Bizeff. And he realizes he's with Hina and the fodder, chimera ant, the jobber dude. And he's trying to figure out, like, you know, what am I going to do now? My entire plan was based off of me helping out Bizeff, but now Hina's helping him out. What do I do now? All right. Another thing that Pouf observed was that there was this human that was captured a few days ago, and it's going to be born soon. I don't remember if something like that was mentioned before. I remember there was like that tree outside. There were like a bunch of trees outside with people that were about to be born or something like that. But this is apparently like a special one that wasn't on that tree, but it was like inside. I don't remember if that specific one was mentioned before or not, though. If it was, just put it in the comment section, but that's something to look out for. And the last thing to mention in this episode is the situation going on with Gon and Pitou, because Pitou is healing Komugi, and at the end of the episode, Pouf comes in, which was a great way to end the episode, by the way. All right, and Pouf is a smart guy, so I'm sure he can figure out the situation at least a little bit. He sees Dr. Blythe, he sees Pitou healing Komugi, and since she's a royal guard, her first priority is Miram. So the fact that she's attending to Komugi, not Miram, means that Miram ordered her to heal Komugi, and he knows that Gon is an enemy, so that means he's able to figure out that she was able to talk her way out of just being killed right then and there, somehow, some way. All right, so I'm sure he realizes that Pitou is not exactly in the best position right now. All right, but what he's going to do from now, I don't know. Because there are a couple things he could do. He could just listen to Pitou and say, just leave, let me handle this. All right, and he could just do what she says and leave. And go somewhere else, take out someone else, maybe find Kahlua, Ikao go somewhere, roaming around down there, underground. He could do whatever, right? But it's possible he could just say, no, I'm just going to take out this kid now, all right? And if he does that, what if Gon actually wins? I mean, if Gon wins, then he's probably not going to be in the mood to listen to Pitou saying, listen, I didn't have anything to do with that. I tried to stop him. Please, just let's go with our original agreement and you wait here. No, he's not going to listen to that. He's going to be pissed. All right? So he's going to attack Pitou. And if Pitou hasn't finished healing Komugi yet, then she's screwed too. So, the situation can go one of two ways, and maybe some other way I haven't thought of. All right, so it was definitely an interesting way to end the episode. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this review. Overall, I thought this episode was great, to be honest. The way the episode ended and the way it kind of just gives you a couple ways the story can branch off from here. The stuff going on with Morel, I thought that was great. Just the thought process and how the decision wasn't just a simple decision. It was complicated, and no matter what Morel decided, you could view it as wrong or right. There are completely valid reasons for it to be both. So I just liked the way that was done. I liked the fact that Nova was actually brought in, because I completely forgot about him. All right, I thought that he was just going to be done and he wasn't going to show up again for a long time until after the fight was over, because he was freaked out. He was so stressed out. His hair turned gray. All right, so I liked how he was brought back in. I like the fact that he was able to overcome just the fear and actually go onto the battlefield, find shoot. Because it's not like, unless he was just watching the situation from afar, everything that was going on, which I don't think he would have done, because he'd be too afraid of being found, right? But assuming that's the case, he wasn't just watching the situation, that means he himself made the decision to go. It's not like he just assumed, oh, well, I'm sure that by now Shoot's probably half dead, so let me go and try and find him and save him, The fact that he saved Shoot means the chances are he actually made the decision to go to the battlefield to just help out however he could, which means he overcame his fear. Right? So there are a lot of things in this episode that make it great. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And yeah, that's a long review, but there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, this episode of Hunter x Hunter gets a 9 out of 10, and yeah, that's it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. わからないことばかりだけど